March 8, 2014, a date that haunts the aviation world. A Boeing 777 Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 mysteriously vanished from the skies. Setting off from Kuala Lumpur, the Malaysian capital, the aircraft was en route to Beijing, the heart of China. On board, 239 souls, a blend of passengers and crew from 14 different countries, each with their own tale, their own journey. The flight was supposed to be routine, a common path tread by many before, but it wasn't to be. The aircraft and everyone on board mysteriously disappeared, leaving no trace, leaving the world in shock. The plane's last known location? The South China Sea between Malaysia and Vietnam, and then, nothing. No distress call, no wreckage, no definitive answers. MH370, now synonymous with one of aviation's most enduring mysteries. The journey for MH370 began like any other, but what transpired in the final hours is a sequence of events shrouded in mystery. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing. The Boeing 777 was carrying 239 souls on board, a mix of passengers and crew, each with their own stories, their own destinations. The route was a familiar one, flown countless times before by the seasoned pilots at the helm. The first hour unfolded as one would expect. The final words from the cockpit to air traffic control were unremarkable, routine even. "Good night, Malaysian 370, they said as the aircraft passed over the South China Sea, ready to cross into Vietnamese airspace. But it was here that the ordinary narrative of flight MH370 took an extraordinary turn. Radar data showed the plane making a sharp left, deviating from its planned path. It was an abrupt change, unannounced, unexplained. The aircraft then flew back over the Malaysian peninsula before turning northwest. This unscheduled detour took MH370 out over the Andaman Sea, far from its intended route. At this point, the transponder stopped transmitting, severing a vital link between the aircraft and the world below. The once routine flight was now a ghost, visible only to primary radar, which provided a rough indication of its location and altitude but little else. In the control towers, confusion reigned. The screens that minutes before had shown a clear, identifiable blip were now empty. Efforts to contact the crew proved futile. Their voices, once clear and calm, were replaced by static. The plane, with its hundreds of passengers, was suddenly and inexplicably silent. The final radar signal was received at 2:30 in the morning. The plane was over the Andaman Sea, far off course, heading into the vast, unending expanse of the Indian Ocean. And then, silence. MH370 went off the radar, disappearing into the night. With the disappearance of MH370, a massive multinational investigation ensued. This was not just a quest for answers, but a race against time, with the hopes of bringing closure to the families of those on board. The investigation into the fate of flight MH370 was unprecedented in its scale and complexity. Teams of experts from around the world banded together, each bringing their unique skills and expertise to the table. From air traffic controllers to aviation engineers, from satellite analysts to oceanographers, the combined efforts represented a tour de force of global cooperation. Among the key findings of the investigation was the fact that the aircraft had deviated from its planned route. The last communication between the flight crew and air traffic control suggested nothing out of the ordinary. Yet, radar data indicated that the plane had made a sudden westward turn, veering dramatically off course. This led investigators to consider a range of theories. Could it have been a mechanical failure? But the Boeing 777, the model of the aircraft, had a stellar safety record. Pilot error? The experienced pilot and co-pilot had logged thousands of flight hours between them. Hijacking? No ransom demands or claims of responsibility were ever made. A deliberate act, but who would stand to gain, and why? Each theory was meticulously examined, scrutinized for any shred of evidence that could shed light on the enigma. But the deeper the investigators delved, the more complex and elusive the puzzle became. The investigation was not without its challenges. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Except the haystack was an ocean, and the needle was an aircraft that had seemingly vanished into thin air. Despite the relentless efforts, no conclusive evidence was ever found to definitively explain the disappearance. The search for MH370 became the most expensive in aviation history, yet the aircraft remains missing to this day. Despite the extensive investigation, the fate of MH370 remains a mystery that continues to confound experts and captivate the world. a reminder of the enduring quest for truth in the face of the unknown. The search for MH370 was no ordinary task. It was the largest and most expensive in aviation history. An enormous effort was launched that spanned years and covered thousands of square miles of ocean. It was not just a search for a missing airplane, it was a mission to seek answers and closure for the families of the 239 souls on board. The search operations were coordinated by the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, with support from Malaysia, China, and other nations. They covered an area larger than the size of New Zealand, spanning the southern Indian Ocean, one of the most remote and challenging environments on Earth. The primary search area was the Seventh Arc, a thin but long stretch of ocean where the plane was believed to have exhausted its fuel and descended rapidly. In this Herculean task, cutting-edge technology was employed. High-tech sonar equipment, underwater drones, and satellite data were all utilized in the search. Ships scoured the ocean surface, while aircraft and satellites kept a watchful eye from above. Despite these efforts, the elusive Boeing 777 remained hidden in the depths of the ocean. The challenges faced by the search teams were immense. The remoteness of the search area, the depth of the ocean, and the unpredictable weather conditions all posed significant hurdles. The search was a race against time, as the plane's black boxes, vital to understanding what happened, had a battery life of only about 30 days. The search was also a test of international cooperation and coordination. Never before had so many nations come together in a common cause, united by the shared goal of finding MH370. Yet despite the unprecedented scale of the operation and the tireless efforts of those involved, the plane remained lost. The search officially ended in 2018, leaving the world with more questions than answers. After 4 years of relentless searching, the teams were forced to admit defeat. But even as the official search concluded, the quest for answers continues. For the families of those on board, the mystery of MH370 remains an open wound, a constant reminder of the loved ones they lost. And for the rest of us, it serves as a poignant reminder of the vast and unforgiving nature of our world. The disappearance of MH370 is a puzzle with missing pieces. Questions loom large, answers remain elusive. This enigma is not for lack of trying. The extensive investigation and search efforts have been met with tantalizing clues, but definitive answers have remained just out of reach. The mystery has fueled a plethora of theories, some more plausible than others. One popular theory suggests that the plane was hijacked, either by a passenger or even a crew member. However, no group has ever claimed responsibility for such an act, and no evidence supporting this theory has been found. Then there's the possibility of a catastrophic mechanical failure. But again, the absence of wreckage makes this theory difficult to substantiate. The aircraft, a Boeing 777, had an exemplary safety record prior to this incident. The idea of pilot suicide is also a theory that has gained traction. Some investigators believe that the pilot or co-pilot may have intentionally crashed the plane into the ocean. While distressing, this theory is not without precedent. Yet, without the plane's black boxes, it's impossible to confirm or refute this hypothesis. There are those who entertain even more outlandish theories. Alien abduction, a secret military operation, a cover-up of a technological malfunction. These ideas, while intriguing, lack any concrete evidence. Independent investigators continue to analyze satellite data, ocean currents, and even potential debris that washes ashore. They hold on to the hope that somewhere, somehow, a piece of the puzzle will emerge that finally brings closure to this enduring mystery. Yet, for now, the fate of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. It's a haunting reminder of how, even in an age of state-of-the-art technology and advanced surveillance systems, a large commercial airliner can simply vanish. MH370, a flight number that has become a symbol of an unsolved mystery. The loss of MH370 has left an indelible mark on aviation history. This unprecedented event shook the world, prompting a hard look at aviation safety and regulations. It spurred enhancements in flight tracking, compelling airlines to ensure that a similar incident never happens again. The tragedy served as a wake-up call to the vulnerabilities in our global aviation system, leading to tighter security measures and more rigorous pilot screenings. But beyond these systemic changes, the emotional toll can't be overlooked. The families of the passengers and crew have endured a heart-wrenching ordeal, their lives forever marked by a void of uncertainty. The global aviation community too mourns this loss, a stern reminder of the responsibility they bear each time an aircraft takes to the skies. As we remember MH370, we continue to seek answers, keeping the hope alive that one day, the mystery will be solved.